What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Win podcast with your host, Aunt Ma, co-host, Joseph Vaseur. And just a little update. We've been uploading episodes every Tuesday to Friday on YouTube. And these have been like 15-minute videos. And then we do our 1-hour episodes as well, which go out on Sundays on YouTube and Mondays on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, and anywhere else that you listen to podcast platforms. So please follow us, subscribe. Also follow us on Instagram. You'll see everything in the description box. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, let us know how you like that too.
Yes, we will love your feedback on this new format that we're doing. For us, it just feels a lot more fresh, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how people have been able to afford homes. So Justin sent me a Reddit post. And what did it say? The question, or do you not remember?
I don't remember the question. So
I did a little research. The question, there's a guy on Reddit who said, he makes $120,000 a year, which is more than the normal average. And he still can't afford a monthly mortgage payment. So he's like, how's everybody else affording this?
Right.
And so I think he left out a lot of things in the post. One thing he mentioned was just that, how do people pay like $5,000 a month?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Because I think people are paying $5,000 a month for almost what I would say is just a regular home.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
exactly.
That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah. So for like a $600,000 home, it would be pretty close to $5,000 a month with a 3.5% down.
Right.
Now, most people do not buy a home that expensive with that low of a down payment.
Got it.
Because no one can afford $5,000 a month. Who can? If you can afford that much, it's probably a millionaire who is buying a very expensive home, and his mortgage is $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Right.
And that's was like 20 to 40% down.
Yeah, I mean, even with let's say 10% down.
Yeah.
How much does it really bring down the monthly payment?
A lot.
Does it?
We don't have a lender for today on our guest, so I don't want to speak for lenders.
Okay.
But I would say, it's still definitely above $3,000 a month with today's interest rates.
From that $5,000 payment?
From the 10% down. Yeah. So with 10% down, your monthlies would still be about $3,000 a month. Something like that. $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
That's kind of crazy. Like on a $6,000 home?
$600,000.
Or $600,000 home?
Correct.
So with the 3.5, it would be around $5,000 a month. And then with 10% down, it'd be
like $3,000 something a month.
Really?
Yeah. So if interest rates were lower, by like right now we're talking about like 6 to 7% interest rates. If the interest rates were back down to 3 to 4%, even at 4%, it would definitely be under $3,000 a month.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But that's you know what? Maybe with like a 20% down. That's a big factor here. So most of my clients, I would say it's a unicorn client if they have 20% down.
Right.
Not everybody has that, right? And so most people have between 3.5 and 10%. That's the most of my clients. I probably only had 3 clients who had 20% down. So I know it's not normal. So in answering that Reddit user's question about how can people afford, it's by buying a home within your means and your abilities. So you can't buy a single family home, 3 to 4 bedrooms that costs $600,000 if you can't afford $5,000 a month on a 3% down. So you might want to look into, buying a condo, right? Something that costs $300,000 to $400,000. And with 3.5% down, then it's a lot more affordable,
Right.
But what most people are actually doing is they are putting more down to afford a home. That's the answer to the question. Okay.
Yeah. Now, is that coming from like down payment assistance programs or?
No, I'm just saying like if someone has at least 10% down or more, they can afford the monthly payments a lot more.
Mm.
So here's the thing: a lot of my clients, they're thinking, um, I want to buy a $600,000 home, right? This is what I know what I want, um, and it's like a 1,500 square feet home. It has a nice yard, right? I got 3 bedrooms for me and whoever else. Um, but most people can't really afford that, or actually, they don't even need it, right? I would say right now, for your situation, you might not need a 3 bedroom home.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's just you and your girlfriend.
Right.
You guys might be able, you might be fine with a 2 bedroom condo, or townhouse because one, you guys are sleeping together in the same room,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other room can be used for, an office or whatever else you want to do,
Yeah.
game room or whatnot, right? You guys don't have kids yet. So until you outgrow the home and make money off this home, that's when you can really upgrade. So what people don't realize is don't look at how much the home costs because most likely you don't need it. You need to look at how much you can afford every month.
Yeah. I think what's crazy about it is everybody is being sold this, like, I guess in America, it's
Yeah.
like, buy your dream home, this kind of
Right.
thing. Or maybe a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, you probably could have afforded it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a lot of people are still stuck in that time where
Yes.
it's like, I could have bought a $600,000 home and have
Right.
it be affordable, but now, a $600,000 home is literally just a basic home
Yeah.
and still can't afford it.
Yep.
Like, in my eyes, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, like, once or people's income levels and all those things used to be able to afford a basic home,
Yeah.
and now people have to look at condos. That's
Well,
kind of
I
crazy.
mean, what's a basic home to you, right?
It could be a 3 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 2 baths.
Because
So, like, another thing is my parents bought. I mean, obviously this was years ago,
yeah.
but like their first home that they were able to afford was a 5 bedroom, I think, like 3 baths,
Wow.
right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's super amazing. And I think even though the income levels were lower back then, I
Yeah.
think it was more attainable.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, again, like I said, we have to look at apartments now,
Yeah.
or I mean, condos.
I mean, so for myself, we had a basic home for our very first home. It was $380,000. Okay, let me backtrack for a second. When me and Christina were looking for our first home, right? We were pre-approved for a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just say it was $500,000. Now, can we afford the payments for a $500,000 home? No, we
Mm-hmm.
can't. So we didn't look at that.
Right.
We looked at what we could afford per month, and that was like $1,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to find a home that will cost me $1,500 a month. And so when we found that, the home costed $380,000.
Yeah.
So we weren't looking at 500K homes or anything like
And
that.
that was an actual home, or
It was an actual home, a 2 bed, 1 bath. It had a nice yard, 5,000 square feet. It had a pool, but the home was 750 square feet, which was tiny.
yeah,
But it's just me and my wife. We
right.
don't need anything bigger. All we needed was a place to sit, a place to cook, shower, and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. So, you know, that was my basic home, and it was within our abilities to be able to pay for that.
Right. I think it's just two different markets.
Yeah.
So it's just a different mentality where, like, people that have been in Vegas or grew up in Vegas, they see how they were able to possibly own a home, and then now to be like, yeah, I can't even afford a home. That's kind of crazy.
But there are homes in Henderson and Summerlin that are 350,000 for a 3 bed, 2 bath home. And they're like 1,100 square feet. That's
Mm-hmm.
bigger than my house that I had. I think that's still very good. You can go to the north side or the east side and maybe find something even cheaper. You just have to sacrifice living somewhere that you don't want to. That's what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
The sacrifices have to be made somewhere, right? You can't have it all. At least not in the very beginning.
Yeah, I don't think that's the question though. I think it's just the fact that homes were affordable back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not a question about where you had to live or how small it had to be. It's just homes were affordable to the average person.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it difficult.
I think because we're also in this transition in our world right now where inflation kicked our butts,
Yeah,
but no one got a raise
exactly.
on income.
Yeah,
So until that happens, it will be affordable again. But right now, everyone's still stuck with the same pay from pre-COVID.
exactly. So that's exactly what I'm saying is how do people afford homes like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a basic home.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's what's kind of sad right now is like people, uh, I guess, especially right now, people deserve to have a home.
Well, 100%. Yeah.
And to have to like work harder or just like downgrade their lifestyle or whatever just because of inflation, that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it would be nice for income levels and then also home prices to balance themselves out so that, or even interest rates to so that people can start affording these homes
Yeah.
again.
Um, a lot of it does have to do with being able to save for a down payment.
Mm,
I didn't even look at a home until I had 100K in my bank account.
mm,
Okay. If I didn't have 100K, I didn't even think I was ready to buy a home.
yeah,
And so luckily when I started running some businesses and I had 100K, that's when I started looking. But it's like there's people that I deal with now who have 100K and they're looking at $700,000, $800,000 homes.
mm.
When I had 100K, I'm still looking at a $380,000 home. You know what I mean? So
Is that just a difference in income levels, like monthly income?
I think I was making pretty good money at the time,
Yeah,
over 10,000 a month by myself,
yeah,
and have 100K in my bank account. But just the fact of spending over $3,000 a month on mortgage was a lot to me. Like,
right.
why do I need to do that when it's just me and my wife?
Mm-hmm.
It's just two people. That's crazy. $1,500 each.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just came from renting for the last 10 years, and when you rent with roommates, you're paying like, well, in the beginning it was like 700, $800 a month,
Right.
right? And then it gets to like $1,200 a month. But I never got to the point where I was paying anything more than $1,000 a month
Yeah.
in rent. So to have a mortgage like that, I was like, man, that's just too crazy.
Right. I was thinking the other day, like, do you think that right now we're gonna start to see more people living with each other, like more roommates, more like people waiting on the sidelines, staying with their families because of these interest rates, or
I think pre-COVID, yes, but COVID changed everybody's perspective because one, people just don't want to be around a lot of people anymore, right?
mm,
Because COVID. And so now that means like everyone's gotten used to not being around people. Um, two, what was my number two? Um, two, with this generation now, people are all thinking about themselves more and what they can do to reach their goals. So that means skipping that whole first step process
yeah,
and go right into owning a home for themselves because they think they've made it.
yeah,
So I think everything's kind of changed.
yeah. Um, Sometimes I hear like all these stories about how like uh people are buying homes like crazy. That you should buy now and all these things. But then I don't see people talking about the bad things. And like on Reddit, you
Yeah.
see a bunch of bad experiences. Like they're not able to rent out their properties because the rent is too high for people or whatever. So, how come nobody really talks about the bad aspects of it?
I think that's like one in a million.
Is it?
So, um,
Because like left and right, you just see people having the same issues in their areas or whatever.
right. I mean, it's,
Um,
it's like when you Google a problem
mhm.
and you find 100 people with the same problem, but no one can figure it out. But there's so many other people who don't have that problem. It's just kind of like there's those loud 100 people who are talking about the same thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So there was a time when I was doing real estate here in Vegas and I was door knocking, and I door knock like 100 doors a day. And there was one guy who came from California, and he's like, "Hey, I just bought this home and I can't rent it out. Why can't I rent it out?" All right. So I looked through all his stuff and I find out your rent's too high. You're charging people too much.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, well, I have to because I won't make any money. I'm going to lose money."
Right.
And then I look, I dig deeper. Well, he put 3.5% down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, you're not going to cash flow by putting the minimal amount and think you're going to make money. You know, it's not that easy. You have to put more money down. You have to work a little bit harder to get some rent. You
Right.
can't have someone pay for your private mortgage insurance that other people don't pay for, you know? Like there's extra fees that you get charged because you don't have a big down payment and you expect your renters to pay that for you? No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The renters only pay for your mortgage and maybe and property tax, right? And the interest, the mortgage, interest, and property tax. So when you rent it out, that's what it covers. But when you have all these extra fees because of special loan programs and things like that, you shouldn't be charging them for that. So, there's maybe those people on Reddit who are doing that where it's very low down payments and they're like, "Hey, how come I can't rent it out?" Well,
Mm-hmm.
you had a bad realtor. They shouldn't have told you that you could rent it out for that. You know what I mean? And secondly, you can't rent it out with special programs because it's illegal. It's
Mm-hmm.
for you to live in.
Yeah.
So you have a realtor who's telling you all the wrong things or didn't advise you on what you should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of horror stories, even on Facebook and all those
Yeah.
things. And it's not like it doesn't put me in any position. I just wish more people talked about that or talked about solutions and how to stop those things from happening. Because right now, a lot of the information that's being put out is go buy now. You need to buy a home now or whatever. So then
Yeah.
people do, not knowing the repercussions that can happen with it or just not having the full education about it.
I think
And then they're
there's
stuck in these positions where like, oh crap, I can't do this. So then I got to let go of the house or whatever.
right. There's this like what you see on social media is like the top of the page, okay? And between the top of the page and the bottom of the page, there's a lot of information left out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me being what I think I'm a really good agent, if I say buy now, I will fill up the rest of the page during the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll teach you the whole way out so you don't get fucked over.
Mm-hmm.
But there's those people who will listen to that top page and they don't reach out to that agent. They're like, well, I'm going to do it myself. And they miss all this information and now they're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's happening, right? Because your information on social media is getting put out to millions of viewers, but how many of them are actually reaching out to you and how many are doing it themselves?
Yeah. Why do you think it's that information's not being put out?
Because, well, for me, it's like, if you want a good agent, you got to come to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know a lot and I know I can help you, but if you want things done the right way, you got to reach out to me so I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't do that. They just think they can do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's people who want to sell their house and they want to sell it without an agent. It doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
All in all, to be able to afford a home, I think the answer is to buy something within your means. Don't spend too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it. Everything's a stepping stone. It's okay if your first home is a condo or a townhouse. Once 2 or 3 years later, you'll be able to get the home that you wanted, and you didn't have to work as hard. Junbi Matcha serves high-quality matcha straight from the farms in Japan. The matcha leaves are hand-picked by farmers to create the purest form of matcha straight to your cup. They currently have 5 locations around the U.S., 2 of them being in the LA area, which is Rolling Heights and Westwood, 1 in Princeton, New Jersey, 1 in Dallas, Texas, and their newest location on the Waikiki Beach in Honolulu, Hawaii. If you don't have a Junbi near you, you can always purchase their matcha tins or pre-made packs. The most popular are the blueberry matcha and the vanilla matcha. You can just mix it with water and you'll have the same great tasting Junbi teas at the comfort of your own home. Whether you're renting or owning a home, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I think right now, because rates are high, homes are expensive. They're spending a lot on mortgage,
Yeah.
maybe more than they should compared to what they make.
Yeah. I think maybe, is it okay to do that at this point? Because we might see some rate changes in the future.
I think if people can stick it out for 2 years,
Yeah.
it'll be okay. But they have to calculate that in
Right.
their costs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of people don't think about it. They're just like, okay, $5,000 a month, forever. It's like, no, dude. Like, maybe for now, it'll probably go down to $4,000 a month once the rates drop.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure you can afford that extra 1,000 a month right now.
Mm-hmm. Quick question, just
Yeah.
super random. When the rates drop, is there any chance for people not to have equity in their house when that happens? So it's almost impossible for them to refinance?
I think it depends when they bought it. If they bought it at the peak of 2021,
Yeah.
obviously right now they've lost money on the home, but you're not selling right now, and then when the rates drop and you refi, you're okay. It's still, I would say right now we're getting pretty close to what 2021 was.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
So I've seen homes in 2021 that reached like $1 million, right? In a neighborhood that was like 800K.
Mm-hmm.
Just the other day, I saw that those houses are now back up to about 970,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now the market's hot, so people are overbidding again, and so we're gonna keep seeing prices go up, especially when the rates go down. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, you have to have equity to refinance, in a sense.
I don't know. That's a lender question.
Oh, is it? Okay, got it.
I, to me as a homeowner, I feel like you can refinance just to get a lower rate.
But if your house is worth less at that point,
but you've paid down your home a little bit, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
kind
know how
of
that
a
works.
complicated question.
Yeah, that's getting down to the T with a lender, and a bank.
Yeah. Now, as far as how much your mortgage should be compared to your income, I've heard like rules like, oh, stay within 30%.
Right now, people are spending at least 50%. Crazy, right? So they're making like, I don't know, $8,000 a month, and they're spending about their mortgages over $4,000 a month, because that's what it is right now, right? All mortgages are pretty much over $4,000 a month. Now, is a normal person making $8,000 a month? I would say no. That's a lot.
Yeah, because isn't like the average household income like 80,000?
Which I still think is a lot.
Really?
Because when I was
household income,
well,
in today's
what
world.
is household to you? You're talking about like over 40 years old?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because from 18 to almost 30 years old, it was just me. And I was only making like $30,000 a month.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I'm sorry, $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Or less.
Mm-hmm.
If I made $30,000 a year, that was a good job that I had for that year. But normally it was like 12 to 20 some $1,000 a year. So for those 10 years of my life, my household was way under that.
Yeah, but I'm sure they calculate like in household. Don't they usually mean like
with roommates?
Yeah, with roommates or even a spouse or whatever.
I think when I had roommates, we were all making like $12,000 to $24,000 a year. So that's like 50 to 60K household.
Yeah, I'm more so thinking like just basic families. Like, isn't that what that means?
Yeah, it does.
So if like just the average family is making $80,000 a year together,
yeah,
how are they gonna afford a home?
They can afford a townhouse.
Right, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who have that income level, and they are renting out townhomes, or they either own a townhome or they're renting a townhome because of their income level.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you're right though. I think everyone should be at like 30% or less.
Yeah.
In terms of spending on their house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of people don't think about it. They just think about mortgage, but there's so much more to it.
Like what?
You have utilities.
Oh yeah.
Right? Just like renting, you have utilities.
And even that can be expensive because like your AC, heater, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That racks up.
So there's people who just I have friends who mothers never ever use AC even if it's 100 degrees.
Not here.
You know, and they're balling.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but maybe they're just like they think they're burning their money, which is a little bit true, right? That's why we have fans, purifiers, things like that. Or do you remember when we're young? I don't know. This might be before your time, but back in my days, there used to be a place called Fedco. Do you know a Fedco?
No.
This is before Costco and Sam's Club.
No.
It used to be called Fedco, and they used to sell these tower fans where they had a tray and you put ice cubes in there, and then the fan blows the ice cubes and it makes it feel like it's AC. You know, that was back. That's
pretty
in my
old
days.
school.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the cheapest ways. If I have, if every refrigerator makes ice now, like that's a pretty cheap way. I might rather do that than use AC.
Yeah.
AC is really expensive.
Yeah, super expensive.
What's the square footage on your rental right now?
I think it's 800 square feet.
And in the hottest summer month, what is your electricity bill?
I think it goes up to almost 200.
Oh, that's not bad.
I mean, it feels bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I wasn't there for most of the time, but my girl was.
Okay.
And she was able to see the fluctuation.
Yeah.
In the price, so she was like, "Yo, what's going on?"
What is it normally if it's not $200?
I think it was like 80 to like 120.
Okay, yeah, so it's more than double.
Yeah, so when she saw that price, she was just like, "All right, we're gonna have to do something.
Yeah,
cut it off or whatever."
So what did you guys do to, to not have to spend that much?
Well, I'm the kind of person that I'd rather live comfortable. So I'm okay with like spending that money.
So you're that guy that's like, I'm gonna blast the AC all day all night, and then I'm gonna put a hoodie on if it's a little too cold.
Not necessarily. I mean, I generally don't like to keep the house that cold.
Yeah.
Just more comfortable.
There's people that do that, What
do you mean?
Who blast the AC and then put on a sweater?
Bro, I have a friend that keeps everything at 60.
That's crazy.
And even in the winter. And I'm like, all right, bro, this is too much.
Yeah.
I'm freezing my balls off.
Oh my gosh.
Like we literally had a battle one time.
Yeah.
Like he would go turn down the temperature and then 2 hours later I would turn it back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I keep things fairly comfortable. I think like around 72.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, for us, we don't use AC in this house until we're about to sleep. And that's just so the kids, can go to sleep fast. Because if it's too hot, they can't sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember who told me this. Maybe my dad or something. I don't know who. I can't remember. But somebody told me if you keep turning it off and turning it back on, it's almost the same thing.
It's going to cost more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the power keeps going on and off.
Right. So I'd rather just keep it on and be comfortable.
Well, here's a trick that I learned as being a homeowner. Now, every time your AC is on and you switch it to off and then switch it back on, that will lose a lot of power. It takes up a lot of energy. But if you have it on the auto and you just change the degrees down and up and it auto shuts off and on, that's a little bit less, it uses less energy.
I see. Okay.
Because I've tried it from month to month. And I've actually saved a lot of money doing that. So now I don't just turn it off. I make sure it goes to auto. And then once it's off, then I'll switch it to off.
So what are some other like expenses that people don't think about?
All right. So we got electricity. You got water. You got trash. You have sewer.
HOA.
Right? Yep. In Vegas, you got the HOAs. Then you also have master plan HOAs. Then you also have SIDS. A lot of people don't know about SIDS, which is like a special improvement district fee, and sometimes that can run like 16 grand.
What?
Yeah, even more sometimes.
Like throughout the year, it's
throughout the 30 years.
Oh, 30 years.
But
yeah, okay.
it's you pay it off, and then that's it. But if you don't pay it off and you sell your home, the new owner takes care of it. So if you're not rich, don't pay it off, right? So it's like having another property tax. And then, there's property tax. So as a renter, you don't have property tax. You don't have SIDS. I think do you have HOA? It gets all thrown in together.
I'm not sure.
So,
I'm pretty sure they throw it in there, but
there's a ton of fees.
Right.
And then you have your maintenance as a homeowner, right? Like landscaping, pool man, when things break in the house, plumber, electrician, all that stuff. Now, these are all your necessity payments going out the window every month. Now, you're not even including your furniture for the house when you first buy it. Furniture, interior design, your beds, all that stuff. Couches, refrigerators, washer, dryers. It's a ton of stuff. So it's like, really, how much money should you spend on your house, right? If you're spending 30% of your income on the mortgage, when you add everything else, it's almost 50%.
Yeah.
Right? So now 50% of your income is for living. And then you got food costs. Now, if you're eating out every day, that's easy $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I think now you're pretty much living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
So what do we do here?
Yep. It's kind of crazy.
Right? So that's why you have to buy groceries. Right? You can't have all these subscription services. Like, you just have to work for your life.
Yeah, those things add up. The subscription services, like even just furnishing your home, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that goes anywhere from like 20 G's to like and up.
Depends. I mean, when I was renting homes at my younger age, I was buying, couches at IKEA for like $400, and it wasn't like the new couches. It was in that one corner where it was like buy as is because someone returned it, and if it's all messed up, you still got to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy stuff like that.
I guess I mean for just a normal sized home versus an apartment.
Jeez, you know what? Every home that I lived in, I just took furniture from the first house and just lived in it. And I never designed the house to look pretty.
Yeah.
It was just more for function.
Yeah, I looked it up and it was like on average 20 to 40 G's on average to furnish a home.
This is our first house that we furnished, brand new, because we sold everything.
Yeah.
I think we're way over like 40.
Oh yeah, for sure. You spend like 13 G's for the blinds or some shit?
Yep. Even this is the first time we got a couch, and the couch was not the first time we got a couch, but the first time we spent money at Pottery Barn for a couch instead of living spaces, stuff like that, where you get a couch for $1,000. This was like over $4,000.
Jeez.
Almost $5,000,
Yeah.
But we were thinking like, this is a couch that we're gonna keep for the rest of our life. So yeah. But I don't know. You guys let us know how much money you should spend on your house in terms of your mortgage, your furnishings, and utilities and maintenance. Like, should you be living paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah.
I think even when you're renting a house with roommates, you're still living paycheck to paycheck with no furniture.
Yep.
So
sleeping
it's a
on
crazy
a futon.
Yep, I've done that. I've been there.
Yep.
I haven't had when I was renting. Sometimes I had no couch and no TV in the living room for like 3 years. Yeah. But we all had it in our own rooms. This is the most popular matcha tin. It gives you the energy you need to prepare for your day without the crash, mainly because of its high quality. Make your own matcha at home with their daily ceremonial grade matcha. All you have to do is scoop, whisk, and enjoy. So this matcha tin is 100% pure shade-grown, finely milled matcha. It's sourced from a 100-year-old farm in Japan. It pairs deliciously with other ingredients, and it fuels you to prepare daringly for your adventures ahead. Should we ask our family members for help to buy a home? Because a lot of people nowadays, homes are way too expensive, especially in LA.
Yeah.
If you are to get pre-approved, you probably won't get pre-approved for enough. Like, a lot of people are getting pre-approved for $500K right now, $600K, and a home in LA is like $800 and above. And so a lot of people are getting gift funds from family members. Do you know what a gift fund is?
No.
So basically, if a family member wants to help you and give you money, they do it in a form of a gift. So that way they don't have to pay taxes on it and it doesn't look like a loan. So you don't pay it back. It's just called a gift. So that's very, very common nowadays. My parents did help me a little bit on purchasing my very first home. And then, as you make equity, you can pay them back, stuff like that.
Right.
I know you're in a different situation where your parents can't help you. Do you wish that they would?
I don't ever wish that they could or whatever. And it's also like they're not in a bad position either.
Yeah.
And I think what they brought for me is just as amazing, like being able to take care of me and provide a home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't ever wish that they could help me out. I just know that, like, when I see some friends, like, they just purchased their first home, knowing my situation, I'm like, damn, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh yeah, my parents helped me with like 50 G's. And I'm like, oh,
whoa, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got help from my dad and I got help from my mom, like, separately.
Okay.
Even though they are married together.
Yeah.
But what gets us to that point is not like, hey, our parents have money, here you go to buy a house. It's watching us go through the process and struggle. So we try to do things on our own, but then it's just too damn expensive. And then you start losing homes and it's like months later.
Yeah.
And then they know you're about to have a kid and stuff like that. So when they see that you can't do it on your own and there's no other way, they're like, here, let me help you a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a lot of things that people leave out in the conversation. They just think like their parents just give them money.
Yeah.
But I have a client right now. They went all in on an offer. All in. They maxed out. They should have never even done that. I don't ever recommend that, but that's just LA for you. And they really love that home. And if they got it, they would have been close to their parents. And so they maxed out. And they didn't win because there's 40 offers going out.
Yeah.
And then when the parents saw that, they're like, I wasn't going to help you before, but now I'll help you, And then they're like, oh, yeah, now you'll help me after I lost the home that we wanted. And now they can't find one that they really want, But that's when it comes down to, like, the helping part.
Yeah. Yeah, on my end, I guess there's, like, nobody really that I can go to, but it's help in a different way.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's not financially, it's in other aspects where it could be, like, if we were to have kids, they would have help with the kids. Nice. If it's to do some work on the house or whatever, like, my dad will help for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not, like, a bad thing or anything.
Do you think this is what happens to me and people I know is because it's from, like, within the Asian culture? Or, like, are your friends who get help for down payments and for things like that, are they Asian? Or
I just see a lot of friends from different cultures and everything that like, I have a couple friends that moved out to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just bought a plot of land and are building a container house. Oh. And yeah, their grandparents helped them with, like, all that.
Okay.
So I don't know how much they helped them with, but they always mention it, like, their grandparents helped them.
That's true. You know what? I do have a lot of American friends who don't get help from their parents, but they get help from their grandparents.
Yeah, their grandparents. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I see it in, everywhere.
Okay.
I do know that Asian families tend to function in that way.
Yeah.
But I've seen it everywhere.
So, people like you who don't have the family members to help with buying a home, there are other ways. And these are more maybe a temporary way. So I also have clients who are Asian and their entire family's in China and they're out here by themselves. Just them. Just one person.
Yeah.
And they're trying to buy a home right now. And so they picked up an extra shift at work. There's other people who pick up a second job. And just by doing that, your pre-approval can go from like $500K to $550. Mm-hmm. And now you can afford that condo that you're trying to get. Mm-hmm. And so, if you were to just during this pre-approval process and home shopping process, to pick up a second job or an extra shift at work, you can do that temporarily. And then when you get the home, that's when you can decide, do I want to keep working this second gig or do I want to just stop?
Right.
You know? And so a lot of people don't know that they can do that. Like just that little bit helps. So it's more like you're helping yourself, but you got to work for it, you know? And out here in Vegas, I feel like, is it easy or is it hard to get these second gigs? Because in LA, it's very easy. There's so many restaurants, right? You can just pick up another waiting job, bus boy, hostess, whatever. There's just, you can work at the casinos, right? They're building a casino, a new one right here, Durango.
Durango, bro.
Durango.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I got the Cali accent.
Yeah. I mean, I can only speak from like a freelancer's perspective because I've been out of like the 9 to 5 for a minute.
Yeah.
There's always work.
Like, what would you do?
So like for me, there's always work at the nightclubs doing photo and videos, or even small businesses that are opening up.
Have you done those type of jobs before? Like,
yeah.
What nightclubs?
Omnia.
Omnia. Which hotel is that one?
Damn, which one is that? I think that's Omnia.
That sounds familiar. Is
MGM?
it MGM?
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
MGM.
Nice.
What's the one at Cosmopolitan?
Marquee?
Yeah, Marquee, XS. Yeah, just a bunch of them.
So you just do video and photos for them?
Yeah, video and photo.
Like, what do they need it for?
For social media. So social media, their websites. A lot of the gigs that I get booked quite a bit towards the end of the year for New Year's. They want to like advertise their New Year's stuff. Even on New Year's Day, like sometimes I go out there during the craziness and film the DJs that are playing at that time and do a little quick reel for them.
Damn, and they're famous DJs.
Yeah.
Like right now you got like people like Tiesto and Deadmau5.
Yeah.
Her DJing, like they have residencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is sort of a competition. There's a lot of people doing this stuff, but I think when you get with the right people and create a network, I think the jobs just come to you at that point.
I feel like there's just so many different positions that you can get at these clubs, right? You got bouncers.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
You got, what do they call those girls that, you're like, you got a bottle? And, and they got the fireworks coming out of the bottle and they're wearing bikinis and stuff. Like,
yeah. They make a lot of money too.
I heard they make over $100K.
Yeah, for sure.
From who? Who gives them that money?
I think it's just tips.
That's all from tip?
Yeah, I think it's tips.
Is there a club where guys are dressed like that?
Bro, if there was, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Damn, dude. Why don't
doing it? Not because.
Well, why don't we make that club?
Yeah.
Right. We're not making a strip club.
I was like,
yeah.
We're not 20K. Come on.
That's tight, dude.
Yeah. Because I make good money.
I think girls actually make more. I would say girls have a lot more money than guys. The reason is because guys spend all the money on girls.
Out in Vegas, probably. Yeah.
Right. Well, the girls probably spend all the money on material things.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room for you to make money out here and get jobs.
Yeah.
There's restaurants. There's new things being built.
If you were not doing your freelancing gigs and you weren't in photography, what's something that you would do here in Vegas?
Probably like valet or something.
Why?
I don't know.
There are some dope ass cars to drive out here.
Yeah, I think like one of my friends, he had a good experience and he was making good money.
How much can you make being a valet person?
Depending on the hotel, I'm sure you can make like $80K or something like that.
Wow. Yeah. Would you rather do that than Uber?
Oh, probably.
Because people are making like $80K on Uber.
Yeah, I'll probably valet. I think from previous jobs like Discount Tire and stuff, being around with like cool people and stuff.
Oh, you're a car guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I used to work at a custom paint shop.
Oh, nice.
For a minute, and then I moved over to working at Discount Tire when I was, I think, like 18 to like 22.
You know how to paint cars?
I was doing all the sanding and priming.
Nice.
So the main owner, he was doing all the like pinstriping and the actual painting.
Yeah.
And I would prep and then also sand afterwards, like all the clear coat.
I feel like that's a big business here in Vegas because the sun is so damaging to cars that people always have to repaint the cars. Well, now people just wrap their cars.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a good business if you market it well.
And I think wrapping your car is ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing in the world, but I want to do it to my truck right now.
Yeah.
Because it only lasts 4 years
Yeah.
before it starts like coming apart.
Or even before then, it kind of gets all like faded and weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I think if you can ask for like family to help out, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be a cool opportunity to like collaborate with your family members, and then, like you said, when you build that equity, pay them back or whatever.
Right.
It'll give you an opportunity to get into a house.
If not, get a second job. Be like Justin. Reach out to them on social media and take videos and photos, or become one of those bartending ladies. What are they called?
Damn, I don't know.
Service ladies? Service call ladies?
No, not service girls.
Service girls? Waitresses? Or just club waitresses, huh?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know, but what I know is that me and Justin are going to start opening up one for men, and table service is only for the women who pay men to bring bottles out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out, but...
This is the matcha whisk. It's electric. It's very convenient to use. The electric matcha whisk is a fun, easy way to make matcha in a flash when you don't have the time or the space to break out your entire set. So you can still enjoy smooth, frothy matcha in just seconds, no matter where you are. So this is the bamboo matcha whisk. It's the most traditional way to make your matcha every morning. It'll help elevate it. It's a ritual that they used to do, and this is a 100-prong traditional bamboo matcha whisk. And it's foldable, so you can take it on the go. Very easy to use. I actually love using this. It just makes the whole experience that much better. And then this ladle is the way I use to actually get the serving size for the matcha. I get the right amount by using this ladle, put it into the bowl, and I start whisking away. And just like that, by adding some water, it's ready to drink. So visit one of the locations near you so you can get some matcha, try it out. And if you guys aren't near any of the locations, go to junebishop.com. You can use our promo code WINNING to get 10% off anything on the website. I think this is a great way for you guys to really try this instead of using anything else for caffeine, such as sodas, coffees, pre-workouts. This is very clean. I do this myself. And a lot of people are doing something new nowadays.
Which is?
So, before, people would buy a home and have roommates, rent it out, right?
Right.
And obviously, if you are already renting a place with roommates, why don't you just be that leader and buy one and rent it out to those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, the big question is down payment.
Exactly.
But what a lot of people are doing right now is they have a house and they have 2 stories, or even 3 stories, and they are Airbnb-ing 1 floor.
Really?
Yes, especially in places like San Francisco.
Oh, okay, because I don't know if you could do that out here.
Because in San Francisco, you have your garage, then the middle floor, and then all the bedrooms upstairs. But if you remodel it to have kitchens on both floors and things like that, you have separate living spaces. And I think that's what people are doing out in San Francisco rather than here in LA, where we do ADUs and turn the garage into a place to live. They do it by floors. So now they're Airbnb-ing floors while still living in their house. So that's a huge way to house hack. That's the new modern way that I've seen.
So is that something that you would recommend to a first-time home buyer too?
I would recommend for someone who's trying to afford a home, if you do have a down payment but can't afford monthly payments, yeah, I would definitely house hack.
Okay.
Like out here in Vegas, we do have those 3-story homes.
Yeah.
That
are pretty dope.
They're really nice. And you get them for what, like $400K?
Yeah, 400 to 600.
So when you're talking about, 10% down, 40 grand. Come on, man. You can save 40 grand if you really tried. If you ate cup of noodles for 1 year, you might be able to save 40 grand.
You think so? If
maybe
people are
like 20 to 30. Okay, be realistic. 20 to 30 grand you can save in a year.
Oh, I don't know.
You can't save 20 grand in a year?
I'm thinking of the average person.
I would say
if they're making the average income right now is what, 60?
I think if someone's making minimum wage, you cannot. You can save maybe 10 grand a year at most.
I'm thinking of average income.
I think if you're making, is that you're talking about like the 80 grand? What's the
Yeah.
average income right now?
I think it's like 60 to 80.
Well, 60 to 80, and you're renting a place right now. I mean, yeah, I think you should still be able to save 20 grand.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not? Right? 20 grand goes to rent. You still have 40 to 60 grand. Where's it going to?
Food,
Yeah.
car.
40 grand worth though? Come on. You
I
have
don't
to
know.
live within your means. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you really make those sacrifices, anywhere from 60 to 80 grand, yes, you could probably save like 20 G's to 30 G's if possible.
yeah, you know, when I was renting with my friends in homes, I didn't have a car payment. I bought a $3,000 car, and that's what I was driving. You know,
Yeah.
like, this was like 2002, and I'm driving a 1995 Honda Accord.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's very old back then. That was 3 grand. So
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to avoid payments, right? I'm not going out to eat all the time because I can't. There was a time in my life when my friends would want to come to Vegas every weekend and party, and they're the types that would get tables. And I'm like, bro, I'm working like 3 jobs right now, and I still can't afford that shit.
Yeah.
You know, but I was hanging out with like rich friends. And they're like, it's okay, just come. We'll spot you. And like in my head, I'm like, I don't want you to spot me because I don't want to pay you back.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. And then I'll come and bring like this hot water thermos maker thing. And I'll bring a box of cup of noodles. And, you know, I would just eat the cup of noodles while everyone else goes eats at, you know, the restaurants. Like, that's how broke I was. Even when I was renting with my friends in LA, I would have boxes of cup of noodles and I would hide it in my closet because me and my friends would get high and they would eat up all my food. I'm like, bro, like, this is how I survive. You guys still live with your mom and dads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm 18 years old and I'm, you know, buying these cup of noodles for myself. But you guys are freaking munching them all. So, you just got to find ways to be able to house hack without, you know, I mean, so you just got to find ways to house hack to where you can, you know, it can benefit you.
Yeah. And with the current interest rates and affordability right now, you see that being more of a trend now, for sure.
I see the Airbnb part being more of a trend where people are Airbnb part of their house, right? Because there is that option when you go on Airbnb.com and it says, check this box for entire house or not, right?
Yeah, because I would, low key right now, I'd probably get a house and then just have someone else live on the bottom floor for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least until the rates come down a little bit and see like how the refinancing goes.
So what I am seeing actually, especially in California, is that people are buying the homes with a mindset of how they're going to rent out part of the house. So we're looking for those specific homes. And I have clients right now and also clients prior to this that are like, find me a house with a detached garage because I'm going to convert it in house hack. You know what I mean? That was the one thing that I loved about my house. I was like, oh, there's a garage right there. We can turn it into a house, you know? And it was already illegally built that way. And we're like, yes, this works. And at the time, that house was at the top of our budget. And we were like, we can't afford this home. But I was like, if I can Airbnb that garage, then we can afford the home. And then I found out after I bought the home, we can't Airbnb in West Covina. I'm like, what the hell? So now I'm stuck. But then I started renting it out to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you want to live in a home that you think you deserve, you got to find ways to make money in the house. Right? Because me and Christina, my wife, we had one kid at the time. We knew we were going to have a second kid. And I was like, we need this house for the kids to grow up in. We can't afford anything else.
Right.
But this was way out of our budget. You know what I mean? So being able to rent out that garage kind of saved our life.
Yeah. Would you look into something like that for this house? Or do you feel like you're in a pretty comfortable spot where like you're just chilling?
I think right now I'm pretty comfortable. I think I would just rather buy some rental properties instead and keep it outside of this house.
Wait, so this is an investment home, right?
Yeah.
You're planning on selling it off or keeping it and renting it out?
The goal is to sell it and then buy another home all cash with the money that we made here and the previous few homes. That's our goal. But if we have the money, I would love to keep this home for a rental. One, because a home like this I can rent out for like 15 grand a month.
Really?
Yeah.
It on this playing field, I guess, with like these homes, do you find more people buying these type of homes versus renting them?
Yes, more people are buying them. But there's a lot of people in Vegas who are, there's this new thing that's called luxury rentals.
Okay.
And that's what people are doing because there's a lot of sports teams coming, a lot of celebrities coming, and they're spending 15 grand a month, and they can do it. Cut out that part where I said 15 grand a month because it's actually eight grand a month. So I'll say, so I can actually rent out. So cut that part where I said 15 grand. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could actually rent this house for 7 to 8 grand a month, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But for me to be able to keep this home and rent it out and afford a second home, I got to start making a lot more money.
Yeah.
Like you basically have to have a whole nother like life to pay for this second home. You know what I mean? Like, you know how long it took to build this life here with this house? And now I got to do a second one just to keep that first one? That's a lot. Like doing wax on, wax off here.
Whoa. I want to tell Christina, dude.
I'm thinking about Christina.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think everyone's goal, like most of my clients, they say, I'm going to keep this home forever. I'm never going to sell it and I'm going to rent it out. And I have to tell them, whoa, that's what we all think we want to do, but it might not happen. Chances are that's going to happen for you. It's not. And I have to hit them hard with that reality because they always think that. But it's not going to happen, man. You're going to use that money to buy a bigger home. How are you going to just all of a sudden have another $200K to buy a bigger home?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's not real.
Okay, what else?
So, like right now, you're looking for a home to buy with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And are you looking for a home just for yourself, or are you going to look for something to house hack with?
So,
right? Like you can buy a condo right now, just you two. You can buy a condo, or you can buy a house.
Yes.
And house hack.
Yeah, I mean, we really want to just have a comfortable space for just us.
Yeah.
I do think that if we got a condo and it was 2 bedrooms, it might be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely want to get a house. Would we house hack? I don't know. We've had roommates for a long time.
Yeah.
I think this is the first year that we haven't had a roommate.
And you guys love it.
Yeah, and we love it.
Well, what if the roommates, because you always talk about your family's always coming over, and what if you just rent it out to your family members? You don't want your sister, your brothers, or in-laws living with you?
I don't think I have a problem with that. I do know that.
Why? Is it because they're watching right now?
No.
Tell me the truth, Justin.
No, I just think, yeah, I mean, you just have to deal with their own personalities. Sometimes like they might be having trouble paying rent or whatever the case may be. And then having it be like family puts you in a weird position sometimes. Yeah. Where it's like, you got to ask for money or you got to, make sure they're picking up after themselves or whatever. So like, I don't like being in that position. Yeah. So like half of me wants to or would want to. Yeah. And then the other half is just like, nah, just keep it how it is.
What if, okay, right now you can afford a condo, but you're like, okay, if I can get this dream home, I do need to have roommates. Yeah. Now, if I have a roommate who pays for it, it'll be like, I don't know, let's just say $15,000 for the year is what they'll pay you in rent. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if maybe 2 months they didn't pay and you had to pay it for them, that's still like 12 grand that they helped you out with. So
Yeah.
you're going in with that mindset is a little different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I think that would be the mindset that I would go into it with.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've always had that mindset. Like when I've rented,
Yeah.
I've always tended to be the one that will take care of things. And so whatever the position is, I know I'll take care of it. And if that's the case, then yeah, like that'd be fine.
Are you the oldest sibling in your family?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you think like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because you got to take care of your sisters, right?
Yeah, I've also been in that position a few times when like with my first apartment,
Yeah.
where I had to cover the rent for
Roommate.
that month or whatever.
Yeah, no, I had to do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I was a person asking for money. So when I was 18, literally the month I turned 18 was the month I moved out of my house. So I wasn't even in college yet. It was like the summer right before college. And I did have a good job where I was getting paid like 2,000 something a month. And the rent was like $800 total. But I was still asking my roommate for my share. Like, hey, can you help pay for my rent for this month and I'll pay you back. I would always pay him back.
Yeah.
You know, but being 18 years old, my priority wasn't always like, I got to pay my rent first because I know my rich roommate would pay that rent no matter what. But it wasn't like I was taking advantage of it. I was paying him back every time.
Yeah.
But the priority of my money was like, now that I live on my own, I can buy all this cool stuff. I have a car. I want to fix up my car. I want to do all these things to make me look cool and for girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was spending a lot of money for girls, which was stupid, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been in that position where I always just had to ask people for money too. You know,
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you feel good,
Yeah.
but you just can't stop sometimes. So, you being on the other side, it's like you don't want to. I don't think anybody wants to be in that position ever.
What position?
You don't want to help people.
Oh.
I don't want to ask for it, right? But it's just, I don't know. So in order for you to not be in those situations, you wouldn't want a house hack, is what you're saying.
It would just have to be a very particular.
Yeah.
Like I would have to feel it out, kind of see how things are going. If they're responsible and everything's cool, then
I
yeah,
get
would do
it. So it's house hacking as if you were a landlord and you're screening tenants.
Yeah, for sure.
And then renting out to those tenants.
Yeah.
Rather than friends and family where it becomes a little gray area.
Yeah, because
That makes sense.
yeah.
Well, there you go. So if you guys are trying to house hack, make sure you do it as you are the landlord and you screen your tenants.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we've learned here today on today's Next Win episode. So guys, make sure to check out all of our episodes that we put up from Tuesday to Friday. And on Mondays, we do our 1 hour episodes on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and Google, and every other podcast platform you guys listen on. Drop the comments below. Let us know where you listen to the podcast. Make sure you follow on all channels, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.